Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are returning or if you're new, welcome. In this video, I'm just going to record what everything that I've not everything, but a few things that I've created with the yarn that I bought in 2020, and just some things that I've noticed about the yarn and what I've kind of gravitated and used more of from my stash. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm Heather Carew, and me and my daughter Chloe, we knit and crochet together and create just different things with yarn art. So one thing that I'm wearing right now, I bought this yarn this year at the clearance sale, and I think I showed it in one of my videos. It is one of the superwash merino wool, and it is one of the bulkier weight yarn, but I did crochet this beautiful shawl with it, and it turned out, I love it. I wear this one all the time, especially when it is cold outside, because it is so warm and it's soft. Like, it's not itchy, even though it's a wool. And the name of the yarn was Electric. So if you want to know more about that yarn, go ahead and watch that video. But this was just a basic shawl, just increasing in the center, and it created this nice little, if you can see it, nice little hole going down the middle of the shawl, and then I just tie it in the back. And I wear it, like I said, all the time, just kind of throw it on. It seems like it goes with a lot of my clothes too. It's bright colored, and I have a lot of like neutrals, so whenever I throw this on, it kind of adds a little bit color to my outfit. And so I loved it so much that I created, and now I can't find it. I just had it. I wonder if I dropped it. Anyways, I made a hat to go along with it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, all right, so it was like right in my lap. Anyways, it was just hard to see. This is what I made along with it to kind of have like a matching set. Hopefully I'm gonna make a pair of gloves to go with it, because I do wear it a lot, and I thought it'd be kind of cute to have a whole full set. But this was actually knitted and in the round. If you want the pattern for it, it was super simple, and in fact, I knit and crochet, and I cannot decide which one I love more. I think for like shawls or things like little toys, I like to crochet, but when I'm making like garments or sweaters or anything that I wear on my body, like a hat, I knit so much faster with it. And so I made this hat to go with it. If you can see it, it has this beautiful texture to it. It's super soft. I have not worn it a lot. I live in South Carolina, so sometimes it's the weather is just very unusual, I guess. One day it might be like 20 degrees, and then the next day it might be like 70 outside. So I haven't worn it since I made it over Christmas break, but I do plan on wearing it whenever it does get cold again, because I don't know, this past year it's been very, very weird with the weather. So like, for example, over Christmas break, it got down to, I think even in Pickens, it was at 9 degrees. It was so cold for South Carolina. And some of our neighbors and some companies had like pipes bursting, and we do not get that down in the South. Like, normally it's really warm at Christmas, but I was wearing like leggings, I was wearing a wool dress. I mean, it was so cold on Christmas Day. And anyways, I loved it. I think it was great, but then the next couple of days it was like 60 degrees. I mean, it was so warm. So we go from these drastic temperature changes down here, and anyways, we're just hoping for some snow. My kids are hoping for some snow this year. And it's just roll the dice. We never know. It's always going to be something different in the winter. Okay, so I know a lot of people are going and doing this challenge, so I am also going to do the challenge as well. It's the goal for 10,000 yards in 2023. And I'm going to try not to buy too much in my stash. As you can see behind me, I have these shelves above, and I actually made them along with my dad, but that wraps around my entire office, like my yarn space, and all the yarn is like around, and I put them in plastic bags. Two reasons why I like the shelves: I can see everything I have, And I also really like them because it's up off the floor. We have a small dog, and he, for some reason, loves wool yarn. And so anytime I make like a little amigurumi animal, he finds it. I don't know how he does it, but he finds it and he chews it up. So I'm really scared that he's going to get into my nice yarn, which is, I prefer knitting with wool yarn. But he tends to also prefer it. So up off the ground is where I want my yarn to be, just so that he doesn't get into it. Also, I put them in plastic bags over break because, and I'm going to tell you guys this, and if you want to make a comment about it on how you store your yarn, but I have a lot of yarn in my stash because I discount shop. So whenever I find yarn on sale, I'll like buy a lot of it and then I'll put it away for like later. So, whenever Hobby Lobby has their discount sale, or I'll go to like a flea market, and if there's like yarn there, I usually buy it up. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I know that I will eventually work with it. And that's what I did over break too. I found this really cool place in Pickens. I think it's called The Mill, and it's just a huge warehouse full of basically it's just a big yard sale, but it's been there for years, and I don't know why I've never been there, but it is amazing. And I found this sweet lady. She had a whole table of like yarn. She wasn't, she said that she doesn't knit or crochet, but she does a lot of like bulk buys, like from, I guess, from companies that are just trying to get rid of stuff, or whenever there's like a what is it called, some kind of just like clearance, I don't know. But anyway, she was super sweet, and I came up and I started looking at the yarn, and she's like, listen, you can have it for like $1 a skein. And I was like, really? Because some of this stuff is really nice. Are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get rid of it. You just pick out what you want. And so I picked out a ton of yarn, beautiful yarn that I've never worked with. One of them was Knit Picks, and I'm gonna have to say, Knit Pick yarn I've never worked with, but their wool yarn is beautiful. I fell in love with it. I've got some reds, and I needed some because I was gonna make some like Santa hats for everybody for Christmas. But their yarn, it's so soft. And it's just one of those things where I've never tried it before because it's online, and I like to touch and feel my yarn before I buy it. I really prefer to. But I really liked it. I fell in love with it. And I made a couple of hats for family members. I made some with little hearts on it for Valentine's Day. And I just loved it. I don't know how it's going to wash up. So I haven't done one of my washes on it yet, but I will. I'm sure I will. Okay, so anyways, what I was saying about, I kind of got off topic, but when I was looking at the yarn with this lady, all of them were like in bags, and some were not in bags, and so they were kind of vintage yarns. So one of them was, let me see if I can find one of them was a cotton fleece, and I've never heard of this brand either, but it's a cotton and merino wool mix, and I've never worked with that either. It's my daughter Carly. I have 3, so they'll be kind of traveling back and forth behind me, I'm sure. But it's a really pretty yarn. I really like working with it. But it was like an older yarn, like so some were in bags and some were not. And I was like collecting all of them as I was like feeling the yarns and figuring out which ones I would probably end up working with the most. And I noticed that the ones that were in bags were much brighter in color, even though they were the same yarn. And that made me think, I'm like, hey, maybe I should put my yarn in bags to keep them, keep them from weathering. And so that's why that was my task over break, is to put them all in like plastic Ziploc bags to make sure that they're, keeping fresh, I guess. I don't know. I just, after seeing what it looks like over time, I was like, well, maybe I should do the same. And so I like bought some Ziploc bags, which really, I thought it would also give me a chance to look at what kind of yarn I had and what colors, and kind of group things, organize a little bit. And it was actually kind of fun. I kind of went through my yarn and put it in. in those little Ziploc bags. So 2 things I would suggest if you're going to do the same thing, get the Ziploc bags with the little fast zipper on it. Don't get the ones where you have to like kind of hold it down. So what I'm trying to say is like get if you are going to do this, get these bags right here to like zip it closed. And if you have any other suggestions on storing yarn, especially if you have a lot of yarn and you're not going to work with it right away, I would love to hear about it, like how you store it and keep it, keep it still nice and keep some of the moisture, because we do have a lot of rain here, keep some of the moisture out of it. Anyways, another thing that, like I said, I think a lot of yarn crocheters or knitters are taking on this challenge at 10,000 yards in 2023. So in January so far, I am at 700 yards, which I've never looked at how many yards I've crocheted or knitted in a month. So I'm really excited to see how much I do in a month, okay? Especially with working full time. I am a teacher, and so when I work, it's hard to crochet or knit. I try to because it is my my happy place, but it's really hard to get some stuff done. So right now, as of right now, I've created a towel, which I'm going to show you right now, out of that cotton fleece. And I don't know, to be honest, I'm not sure. I know cotton works really well for creating like tea towels and dish towels. However, I don't know what the wool's going to do. And I don't know if maybe I shouldn't have made this, but this is just a crocheted little dish towel, and I think we're gonna I'm gonna gift it. I'm gonna put some stuff down at the bottom to make it kind of pretty, but I think I'm gonna gift it to our new neighbors, because we have a couple of new neighbors coming into our neighborhood. Shh, okay, yeah, it's actually we kind of know them, so I think I might gift that to her and her family, but I need a couple more little like tea towels to go with it. But that's with that let me see, cotton fleece, which is really, really, I mean, it says it's luxury cotton. So that was one I got from that flea market, which I got a really good deal on, I guess. I don't know. I've never used that yarn before, but I really like it. So that was my first thing I did in 2023, which I started on New Year's Eve. And now I finished that. I just need to like add some like design to it to make it look pretty. Another thing that I'm working on right now for a coworker is she wanted a red hat. So I've been working on this, and I'm crocheting it, but I have estimated the hat to use about 270 yards, and I'm using a yarn I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby for like really good deal too. Now I can't find the little band. Let me see if I can find it, because I'd like to show you. Okay, I found it. It is called Tender Touch, and it's a yarn bee from Hobby Lobby. It's just an acrylic yarn. The very sweet coworker of mine, she wanted to have a hat made of her school colors, and so they were red and gray, and so that's what I'm working on right now for her. And it's just an acrylic yarn. She didn't want something that was going to be really hard to what's the word? Care for. Okay, so sometimes like if you have a lot of wool garments and you're used to washing wool, it's not a big deal. But if, like, for example, if you're not really into fibers and you're not really sure how to care for them, I usually ask the person that I'm making something for, I'm like, hey, this is gonna, I usually show them some of the yarn that I have them touch it and everything, and then I go, okay, so like I separate out my groups. I'm like, hey, this will be easier to care for, which most acrylic yarns are usually easy to care for. Like they can go in the washer and they won't mat or anything like that. So anyways, I kind of showed her a few of the reds that I had, red yarns, and she picked out one that she liked, and so that's what I'm working on right now for her. And it was it was called Tender Touch, and it's from Yarn Bee, and it's really nice to work with. I really like it for an acrylic. It doesn't feel, I mean, it almost feels like it is a like Woolies kind of yarn. It's kind of soft, but not, it's really soft actually. It's really, really, really soft. But anyways, that's what I'm working on for a woman at work. And I do not have the other project that I finished because I've already given it to someone. And it was a another lady that I work with in the office, and she wanted a cow for her daughter, and so I worked on that. And let me show you the yarn that I made with it, and then I want to talk about that yarn. Okay, all right, so amigurumis are always a super big request whenever I'm making something. And then when I have like craft fairs, which I don't have a lot, like I really don't have time to make a lot of things, but they usually sell really quick. I made some like ice cream cones, and they had like little faces on them, but they didn't really sell. I thought they were super cute, but they didn't really sell as much. But my turtles, whenever I make turtles, those always usually sell. And then I get like special requests. Like I've made, this is the yarn that I usually end up using, which is not a cotton yarn. It is called Sweet Minis. And it was another purchase with the Hobby Lobby yarn sale. So that was one that I think I showed and talked about in the video, but I have really like gravitated towards this yarn for making like little animals. And the reason is because it gives you a good amount to work with, like different colors. And usually when you're making amigurumis, unless you have one particular color that you're working with, usually you want a couple of different colors that kind of the yarn is the same, like it goes together when you're making it. Like, so I really like these yarns. I wish that they made these yarns, these Sweet Minis, in cotton. If they made them in cotton, I would buy them even if they were not on clearance. And I'm telling you this, I am very cheap. I like to buy cheap, and I like to buy things when they're on sale. I don't normally pay full price for stuff. But if they were to make Sweet Minis in cotton, I would pay $4.29 for them, because they would be perfect for making little animals. So this is what I have like kind of left over, kind of used up. I've used a lot of the different colors, and I really, really, really like this yarn because of the way they kind of group all the colors together. This one right here, I've made a sloth with. And I've also made a cow with the bright white. And then I can add like different things to it, like little outfits or little skirts. And anyways, it's just been a great yarn to work with. And so that's my other project that I finished in 2023. So I've had 3, and I'm not finished with the hat yet, but I've had 3 so far. And I'm probably going to estimate this project. I mean, I don't know. It's probably around, maybe, it says that it's 300 yards on the back, but I didn't use all of the yarn. But I did use like different pieces of different groups of yarns. But each little Sweet Mini is around 100 yards, which turns out to be just enough to make the body, with some left over. And then I've got these other colors to work with to add some different, different look to the doll or whatever I'm making. Anyways, all right, so Sweet Minis, that's what I've been working with. So if I were to rate all of the yarns that I've worked with so far in 2023, I would say my favorite one would have to be the cotton fleece. And that's an old, it may be a vintage yarn. I haven't really researched it all that much, but it's probably been my favorite to work with. It works up really quick. And then my second favorite would have to be the Sweet Minis, just because I like it because of how diverse it can be, how you can use it, how it kind of is always my go-to whenever I'm creating something. But I don't really like the way it feels. Like, it feels kind of like, that's why I wish it was cotton or some kind of nicer yarn instead of just, it's acrylic. Acrylic is really nice and it's easy to care for. But amigurumis, if you make them a lot, I usually use cotton just because I know how it's going to turn out and it just feels better on my hands. I'm just picky about that. Anyways, all right, so far in 2023, I am estimating that I have used around 700 to 800 yards so far. So anyways, I feel like that's pretty good. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to let y'all go. Enjoy your time crochet, and hopefully I inspired you to do either the challenge or to pick up some new yarn. And comment down below and I will comment back. Thank you. Have a great January and see you later.